Hi there, I'm going to go ahead and do a review of the DNX892. I'm going to go ahead and turn the switch on here. I do have a switch on the bottom of my steering column here. I did have the DNX572BH in here and decided to go ahead and upgrade to the 7-inch version. And this gives you an idea of the startup time here. And the screen, the splash screen, which you can change. But it's pretty quick starting up. And there's your standby screen. And the way I have my menu set up is basically the identical unit to the 572BH that I had in here. Everything works exactly the same way pretty much, except for, let me just show you some of the differences. Obviously you have a 7-inch screen here. I believe it's the same screen resolution, so if anything it doesn't look quite as sharp as a smaller 6.2-inch screen. I think it's officially 6.95 inches, which they classify as pretty much a 7-inch screen. But anyhow, I have mine set up the same exact way that I did with the 572, which is a full SD, which allows you to do music and movies and everything else. I have a movie in there now just to show you, and that would be Christmas movie. That's the SD card playing there now. And nice thing about the SD card is that you do have full rewind and fast forward options here, and of course you can change the screen size on it too. But sound quality just as good as any other Kenwood. So I'll go ahead and shut this off. So yeah, you have music options here. And of course the movie I already had shown there for you. This is the SD card, so it's not just for nav updates or navigation or system updates. It's for anything you have that you want to put on there, music or whatever. I have musical folders here with my different options or my different artists in here. And trying to do this while I'm looking through here through the camera. But if we go back to the home screen here, and you see I have the HD radio.
This series. Dumbed down, afraid of themselves.
And there's your presets over there on the side. And your HD symbol right there, which will, you see how it brightened up there. It means it went ahead and hooked up to the HD signal and gave you full HD quality. Which is still debatable as to how much better it is than actual FM, but I think it does actually seem a lot clearer, I guess. So that's not really much to show you with that. You have your presets over here, and you have an extension here. You can bring them over, and you have some options over here for seek and direct. That's direct input right there, and you know, so those things work really well. I probably don't use the HD radio more than anything else, though. I probably use that the least. But you have your disc player here, which works really well. And again, it's exactly the same as the 572 that I had already put a review on for, so I have another movie in there for that. And now this, if you want to fast forward, unless you have the remote control, then you have to use the actual buttons.
Yeah, that's actually me.
And I have the commentary on that one, but anyway.
I can sing better than me.
That's a DVD video there. And if we go back to the home screen, I have a USB. And this unit has 2 USBs, which I don't have anything in, but I do have 2 ports here that I have down here on the floor. Now, one of these you could charge your phone with if you wanted to. I have an Android phone. Plug your USB in there rather than have it plugged into your cigarette lighter adapter or whatever. And then the other one you could play music on, or you know, videos or whatever you want to do. So yeah, the dual USB is nice. And the other nice thing about this over the 572 or the smaller units is it has the full SD slot. I'll go ahead and show you that here. And also how the tilt screen works. I'm going to SD. And let me go ahead and go back to the main screen here. And there's your eject button. So if you hit the eject button, then you see your screen tilting up. Tilts all the way down. I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, you can. It's brightening up here now. You can see the SD slot. There's full SDs right in there. And then you have your DVD slot above that and all your logos there for DVD and HD radio and everything, Garmin and everything else that advertises there. So you hit the eject button on the top here. And it closes it right back up again. So that shows you how to get the SD in there now. Then you go ahead and go back to the home screen. I have my telephone. Now you can move these icons anywhere you want, and of course there's another screen or two here you can actually go to too. Navigation could be over there too, but there's a navigation button already down here, and also at the bottom of the screen goes into the navigation. But anyway, you can move any of these. If you hold them down, you can move them over onto the main screen here, the home screen, which is where it's going to default to. I have my Bluetooth here for Bluetooth music on my phone, and I also have standby here on the front screen, which is probably what I usually put it in whenever I get out of the car, so that when I get back in, turn it back on, it's quiet and I can just put it on whatever I want. So the navigation's the same as a standard Garmin navigation. Get rid of that, give you full screen, and go back here, excuse me, go to where to, and you got your standard options here for gas stations, restaurants, and so on. And yeah, it's pretty quick. Of course, you can use your touch screen like this, or you can use the up and down arrows over here, and it gives you the gas stations that are close by. You can pull up information, and it's calculating the route now, and it gives you a 10-minute time to get there, 3.3 miles using 33-cent fuel cost based on the car that I have. And then since it's already calculated, if you hit the go button here, it'll go right to it. There's no more time involved. Takes a few seconds for the navigation to talk to you and tell you which way to go, but should be any second now. Should tell us where to go.
Please drive to highlighted route.
And there that is. And you have your stop button over here. You stop the route, and your standard Garmin goodies here. You have an apps here. You have Eco Route, which is just going to be standard Eco Route. It kind of gives you an idea of your fuel economy based on the car you have programmed in there. Your calculator, and you can see the other things here. Trip planner. There's a clock there, world clock, and some other things, unit converter, my data, and of course you have your settings bar, or settings button here. It takes you and you can change all your different settings here, your navigation preferences, and your display and all that. There's traffic on this GPS, or this unit. If you're in an area where the traffic is picked up, or you have it, you're subscribed to it, I think the first 2 years are free, and then there's some kind of discount or something they give you after the second year. I think that's how it works. But anyway, of course you can go back to your main source there that you were on. It's just standby screen. This screen background right here you can change. The easiest way to do that is if you hit the menu button, it brings these boxes on the bottom of the screen up for you. You can get into the setup here, or the audio, and all so on and so forth. You have the display off even here for that. If you're driving at night, you don't want that blaring in your face. You can still have music going in the background, or the radio going in the background. And all you do is just touch the screen and it comes back on again, or any of the buttons at the bottom there. But let me show you how to change the display options here. If you go to, you don't want to go to screen adjustment, that's something different. That's for the contrast and the I think it's contrast and brightness and stuff. But anyway, if you want to go into setup, and you want to go in, there's different options here, but you want to go to display here, and basically what's going to happen is you have the angle, which of course you can change any of the angle here. If you see how it's just on that, it even has a negative angle on it. If the sun's really getting on your screen, you want to try an angle so it's not glaring off of there, then that's the way to go. This thing really tilts up far. It works well on the 0 for me. But anyway, and you can actually memorize it too there. Colors, that's going to be the colors down the bottom of the screen here, the screen background. You can set those in here with the palette. I have it set to the green here, so it's a little bit closer to what my illumination on my car is. And also, since I don't have anything programmed in the background other than the standard Kenwood one, it's going to give you those, it looks almost like a braided kind of, almost like a braided kind of look, I would call it, with the green. But if you go back here, if you go to background, again, there we go. If you had a USB drive plugged into your USB, one of your USB ports, what you'd want to do is just put one single picture on that USB drive, and make sure it's formatted to the right specs for the screen, which is 800 by 480, I believe. And you can put something pretty cool on there. I did have one on here with my kids on here, that same one I had on the 572, and you can see in the background there. Now if I pushed enter here, it would put that one back in there again. But I'm going to go back to the other one here and just make sure it's back in there. So anyway, that's how you can change the screen background, and the only time you can really see it is when you're, let's go back to the home screen here. The only time you can really see it is when you're on the standby screen. You really can't see it much other than that. But on the standby screen, you have quite a bit of real estate here for your background. So this gives you an idea. It's not a full comprehensive review, but it gives you an idea of what you can do with this radio. Really nice radio. Again, I'll say the same thing I did with the 572. If you don't need the navigation and you're just looking for a DVD unit with HD radio and USB port or whatever, then the DDX series is very good for that, and a little quicker on the startup without having to load the navigation maps in. And also has a volume button on the side, or knob on the side here, like the 572 had. Also, you could also go with the Pioneer unit, which I would probably prefer, as I said before in the other video. I would prefer a Pioneer unit just if I wasn't going to do the navigation. But the Garmin navigation on these units is really, really good. Not as good as like a windshield unit would be. I still have my windshield unit here because I can do voice navigation with that, and it also has EcoRoute HD on it. But overall, very nice unit. Very little to complain about. It's pretty quick once it starts up, and I haven't really had any problems with it. No reboot issues like you used to get with some of the older systems. And the sound quality, of course, is top notch, and the button placement also is very good, and it's well thought out. Nice looking unit. This is the Excelon, so it's got a little more gloss around the outside. But anyway, thanks for watching, and if you have any valid comments or concerns or questions, go ahead and post them on the video. Thank you.